Coronavirus has fueled authoritarian trends around the world, warns Australia.
Here's a summary of the article.
COVID-19 has fueled protectionist and authoritarian trends around the world as some countries take advantage of the pandemic to erode the rule of law, Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade warns. As officials prepare to face a parliamentary hearing on Wednesday, DFAT has also acknowledged clear differences exist in the relationship with China, while insisting Australia seeks a constructive partnership that is not defined by those differences. The submission says Australia is continuing to raise human rights concerns through a range of forums, a task that is particularly important given some countries' increased appetite to use COVID-19 as an opportunity to undermine democratic principles, respect for human rights and the rule of law. DFAT also says Australia has maintained an operational presence in the South China Sea because it is a crucial international waterway and adherence to international law remains paramount, even while countries are focused on domestic responses to COVID-19. While the submission doesn't go into great detail about the current tensions in the relationship with China, it does say Australia wants a partnership that works in the interests of both countries. Its recent hearings have been told how supply chains have been disrupted and explored the extent to which Australia should build up its sovereign capabilities, including in the areas of medicines and personal protective equipment. In the submission, DFAT also argues that the independent international evaluation of the response to COVID-19, which won broad support at the World Health Assembly in May, should not be politicized, as it will help the global community protect itself against future pandemics. China has targeted Australia on a number of trade fronts this year, including imposing steep tariffs on barley imports, suspending red meat import permits for 5 processing plants, and issuing warnings to international students.
This post received a score of 42,000, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It was already getting bad way before COVID.
It's almost like when there were no repercussions for the '07 financial crisis, a lot of billionaire thugs were emboldened to do political capture of most nations, which led to the destruction of the working class across the globe.
Why do you think there was a cornucopia of NWO and Illuminati videos around 2007 on YouTube? People felt this happening. In reality it's not a conspiracy, but it is still happening.
Greater than in reality it's not a conspiracy, but it is still happening. It's a conspiracy, just not that type of conspiracy.
I appreciate you clarifying that because conspiracy and conspiracy theory have become lazily interchangeable.
There are some far out there conspiracy theories, but at the same time, how many conspiracy theories were far out there 20 to 30 years ago and then they became true? I'm not saying that I believe all the shit, but hell, in the 90s you were looked at as if you were crazy for saying the CIA ran drugs.
Just rewatched V for Vendetta. I no longer believe anything I read or see in the media.
I never believe anything I see or hear anywhere. I'm in a constant state of disbelief. Winking face.
I don't believe you.
That's the spirit.
The same Australia that raids the offices of journalists and news networks.
And subjects journalists and whistleblowers alike to secret trials lacking any oversight.
And has been ruling by decree for months as they repeatedly suspend parliamentary sittings, and refuse to do anything about the actual rules of Parliament that could allow our elected officials to actually do things like vote and pass legislation using the same modern collaboration and video conferencing tools being used by all the businesses that have managed to adapt to lockdown and continue running their operations remotely, the kind of tools which would allow democratic processes to be used in running the country, rather than the ruling party simply passing whatever legislation it
Greater than as they repeatedly suspend parliamentary sittings, they literally sat the absolute minimum days possible to still be legally considered a government of Australia.
Still less work than jobseeker conditions. Fuck it. That's what I want to see. Polies apply for jobs in the private sector under an alias through fucking Seek, and after the inevitable 3 months of the overqualified-underqualified game, they can be forced to take a job pulling staples out of paper without one of those little de-staple doohickeys. Fucking Seno money would jump so high it'd be in the next Commonwealth Games.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.